Hello everybody, Ben Ditmar here again. Today is April 3rd, 2013. This is going to be the third year for Chrysler Outboard, dude. Anyway, but we're going to start here with a video. One of my really common questions I get on these Chryslers is that the motor's not pumping water well. It will pump water at high speed, but doesn't pump well at low speed. Or it will pump water, the boat gets up on plane and it will stop pumping and the engine will overheat. And they take it apart and the impeller looks fine. So this is what I've found over the years of working on these motors that seems to remedy the problem. First off, I don't know if you can see this well, but this is the original OE impeller that was installed in Chrysler Outboards up until 1974. After 1974, they came with this style of an impeller. Okay. A lot of the problems actually happen when you have this impeller in the motor instead of this impeller in the motor. And what it is it's a difference in the housing and in the thickness of the impeller itself. So what I do to take care of this is I find that the impeller is not deep enough in the cup. You know, it doesn't fit in the housing. The housing's too deep for the impeller and it allows it to leak. So this is what I do on it. What I do is I just take a piece of wet dry sandpaper. This is 320 because this is what I have right now. And I hold it on a flat surface. I got a 2x6 here. And I just work it back and forth, some wet dry with water on there. And I just keep working it back and forth until it gets a nice shiny surface on it, and you can see that it's nice and flat all the way across. And sometimes you have to take a couple thousandths off of it. You can see one here that has not had this treatment done before, and we can go ahead and work that back and forth. And you can see it's starting to cut it down a little bit. We got some shiny on there. You can see too that the housing isn't quite exactly flat. So you just keep working that until it looks like this all the way around. Then you have a nice flat housing to work with again. And then you have the wear plate that sits underneath the impeller. So you have the impeller like this on top of the wear plate. Then you have the housing on top of that. What I'll do is take this housing too, this wear plate, and I'll rub that on the sandpaper too until you have nice hone marks all the way across it. Can't really tell, but there's nice, looks like a nice hone job. So this plate's nice and flat, so that ought to work just fine. Now the other thing I'd use is I use a high-tack gasket sealant. And what I'll do is I'll paint that on the bottom of this housing here. And you just use a light coating of it. You don't want to go overboard on this at all because you don't want the high tack to get into the actual water pump itself. But I just use a little bit on here. So what I'll do here is I'll reassemble this one here. This is a 9/9 gear case or 15 gear case. So what I'll do is I'll take the high tack, gasket sealant, and I'll just paint a little bit around the lower unit down here where the wear plate mounts to, like so. Take the wear plate, you can see where the old impeller was riding on this one, so I'll drop that on place. Take my impeller drive pin, set that in place on the actual house during the drive shaft. I'll take this newer style impeller. This impeller looks brand new. It looks absolutely perfect. So I'll go ahead and slip that on. And I'll take my high-tack gasket material again, or sealant. And I just put a really light coating on it all the way around the edge. Just like so. And I'll stand the housing up, drop that over the impeller, Now how I do this to install the impeller over the cup is I'll turn the drive shaft in clockwise position, looking down on the drive shaft. So I push down, turn the drive shaft clockwise, and then just push down on the cup, and then it'll slide right over the impeller. Line everything up, put your bolts in. And then just tighten everything up. And since we have a nice flat housing now, to keep it from warping, you're going to want to snug it up first, all the bolts, and you want to crisscross them too, so you're not making a warp in the housing that you just refinished. So that one's snug. Snugged up. And I just go around and I tighten these back up pretty good, about 12 foot-pounds of torque. You don't have to get overly carried away with them. Now, another thing I wanted to point out here on these housings, it's kind of hard to see, but right here in the housing there's a hole, and that's a vent hole. You need to check that and make sure that is clear and not plugged up. And it exits out here on this side. The purpose of that hole is to let the air escape when you put the motor in the water. Without that there, you just have an air block in it. Think about holding your finger over a straw. But that's how that works. I hope that video is helpful. Any questions or comments, please let me know. Thank you for watching. Bye.